In my opinion, the answer is unequivocally no. But the reason why I bring this question up is because top player Marlon made a tweet thread about how he thinks the top tiers in Rivals 2 are too bland because they have clearly 2 to 3 over-centralizing buttons. He claims that this leads to characters only having like one viable game plan where all players implement that game plan at various skill levels, instead of having multiple game plans that players can pick and choose depending on their playstyle. Now of course, the opinion of one top player is not law and does not reflect what everyone thinks, but I do find this to be an interesting topic. I personally think that every character has the necessary tools to be as expressive as you want, but the only caveat to this opinion is that I'm a mid-level player who sits around high gold, low plat, so I may not have the skill set needed to know all the nuances. Regardless, I get into it more at this timestamp where I go over what Marlon says and the responses that the community members have about this. Welcome to Recap of Aether! I'm your host, both players, and before we dive into the news and recap, I first want to mention, I made it to 1,000 subscribers! Let's go! Thank you guys so much for watching and supporting. It really does mean a lot to me. Shout out to everyone who comments their thoughts and opinions on my videos. It is truly why I do it. I really do just love talking about the game, and having a place to have a conversation with you guys has been a great experience. And for the most part, everyone here is civil, which I appreciate. Also, shout outs to the dads of Aether. They commented on my last video, and I guess I shouldn't necessarily be surprised since there are people of any age bracket that play this game, but I don't know, I am pleasantly surprised to hear that some busy dads are taking some time out of their day to keep up with Rivals of Aether and through my channel. And also, since I got 1,000 subscribers, I can finally reapply to the Rivals of Aether creator program. Now that I've reached a subscriber threshold, I have reapplied and hopefully I'll get my very own creator code soon. I hope you guys are ready for the shill of your lifetime. But seriously, thank you guys so much for your support. I hope to keep doing it as long as I enjoy the game, which is looking like to be a very long time. Anyway, let's get right into it. Firstly, we had patch 1.1.5 last Tuesday. It is our mid-month update, which comes with a pirate ferret themed skin for Maple. And I mean, hey, finally a good skin for Maple? Let's go. I've been saying for a minute that Maple didn't have that many good skins, but this pirate skin is really sick. I love the bandana. I love the fact that both her hands are hook hands, and also all of her plants are the pirate crewmates. What a fun idea. And if you were unaware, for 1 month, 25% of all the Pirate Maple bundle profits will go to Snail's House Ferret Sanctuary. This is a ferret rescue run by Pirate Software. So not only will you get a sick skin, you will be able to support a good cause too. And honestly, that's basically it for this update. There are some patches that go over some general things. Apparently there was a bug that prevented players from progressing stages in arcade mode in certain scenarios, so that's been fixed. And they also changed the air dodge rounding angle from 20 down to 12. Before the angle was 10, they changed it to 20 to make it more consistent when wave dashing, but apparently this change had some issues with certain box configurations, so this new value should achieve the same goal as 1.1.4 while working better for the aforementioned box configurations. There's also been some general audio updates as well. The hit audio now cuts better through the mix, so we slightly lowered their volume. A few hit types got some extra attention in the mix. Characters that were most affected were Zetterburn, Rano, Forsburn, and Claren. Some multi-hit attacks now sound snappier, like Claren's up special, and some character-specific audio changes. Maple now has a custom vine wrap sound for seated enemies. I assume that means she has a different sound when she's attached to Terry, and Terry now has a sound when he goes back into the ground. Nice. Another change that they made was there is a new critical hit purple screen sound effect in the game. This was a heavily requested change and that we are excited to add. Yeah, I mean, I played a little bit and they made the sound very like, I don't know, like it's very clearly more critical hitty, which is a lot of fun. And that's basically it for the patches. The next bit of news is Hitfall. So if you're unaware, Hitfall is a Rivals major that occurs in Virginia. And so this is the top 8 of Hitfall 3.5. Cake Assault at number 1, Toothbrush at 2, Iota at 3, Elkies at 4, Switch at 5, Barking Frog at 5, Nard at 7, and Hyperflame at 7. Now this is much more spread out in terms of character representation. That last week's Hungry Box tournament, God, it was like overly dominated with Zetterburn and Crag, but this one, not even a single Crag is in top 8, which is crazy to me. Now there's 2 Ranos and 2 Zetterburns, but everyone else was a different character, which I think is great. I think what that really shows is that Crag and Zetterburn are probably better online just because they hit hard and are easier to handle. And I'll admit, I didn't have that much time to actually watch Hitfall, but it's still cool to see the results, especially 3rd place Arcane. I think with the meta right now, people place Arcane kind of low, so it's really cool to see Arcane do some work. Last Stock actually ran a tournament that they call the Creator Cup, where 8 creators go in a bracket where they fight, and Last Stock has the opportunity to have conversations with them on why they like the community and what they do. And the winner of these tournaments would have the chance to donate to their charity of choice. At this week's Creator Cup, Zeus the Goose got first, Proof Block got second, and Wisdom Light got third. And since Zeus won, they decided to donate $50 to the Children's Hospital of Philadelphia. All right, next is the Twitter portion of the video. So I actually came across a good handful of things on Twitter, so I'm excited to get through them. But first things first, let's talk about the tweet that Marlon made about the characters of Rivals of Aether. Here was the first tweet that really set it off. Why does the Rivals 2 dev team want characters who center their game plan around pressing 2 or 3 really strong buttons plus grab to be top tier? Dan of course responds saying, give me your list of the 3 strongest buttons on each character and I'll nerf them so that you have to use the other ones. Marlon says, I'm at a local, I got you later. Yeah, so this is a really interesting take. I don't want to put words into Marlon's mouth, but from my interpretation, I think he's saying that especially top tiers, there's like 2 or 3 options that are like clearly the best move. So the entire game plan of a character would be centralized over that move. As an example, before Orcane's Nair nerf, like since Orcane Nair was so good, every Orcane would just spam Nair and it would be fine. But yeah, I don't know, it's an interesting take because I suppose Rivals 1 didn't have as much of this problem. But the reason why I say it's interesting is because the characters of Rivals of Aether are all like, they got all of them have their gimmicks, which by the nature of that means that all of their game plans will revolve around that gimmick. I'm sure that's not what Marlon is talking about, but yeah, we'll see what other people say about this specifically. Geku's a very strong Loxodon says, no bro, you don't get it. Those 2 to 3 buttons are all showcases of their skill expression difficulty. If you were an intellectual, you would know that. Okay, so Gek also agrees that Rivals has an issue with really strong buttons. Or rather, having only 2 to 3 strong buttons. I'm not sure if either Gek or Marlon is saying that characters should have all of their buttons be really strong so that any option works, or if none of the options are strong so that you're forced to be creative with them. I'm not too sure what they, which way they lie. I have to assume the former, but I don't know. Some people are confused to which character this applies to. Tim Prater says, which character does this not apply to? Insinuating that every character only has 2 or 3 buttons. Smashul or TMO Falco says, grab, jump, the A button and B button are the center of every character game plan in every Smash game though. True, that's 3 to 4 buttons. A, B, grab, jump. To be fair, I think what Marlon is saying is that 3 to 4 moves are centralizing. For example, Forest Burn has like a really strong bear. So like all Forest Burns want to do is fish for bear. I think that's what Marlon is getting at. Anathema, which is a strong Rob player from Smash Ultimate, says, that's the main reason I quit. The game's neutral felt so bland. Okay, sorry, I got like shell shocked because like you come from Smash Ultimate, brother. I don't know. Is Smash Ultimate's neutral or gameplay feel less bland than Rivals? I think I disagree with that take. But I'm also a mid-level player in both games, so maybe that has something to do with it. They should let you do a patch for Rivals. I would want to see what happens. Listen, as much as the opinions of top players are important, I would not let a top player balance any game. That's just not how that works. Marlon goes on to say, I don't understand why the solution is to nerf everything to the ground so there are like 3 things you're allowed to press. So saying that like all the characters' kits are very weak, but there are 3 things that are good, so the game plan revolves around those 3 things. Yeah, I mean that makes sense. Like people, and especially competitive people, will gravitate towards the strong options because the strong options is what gets you wins. I guess it's I'm just not at this level that I don't really see this. Like I don't know. Mule Guy says, I would really like a global power reduction in the game, but it has to be done in a way where no character has anyone really glaringly powerful has any really glaringly powerful tool that over centralizes their game plan. It's Proof Block. Hey, Proof Block says it's rock paper scissors, but everyone has 3 rocks. Okay. Nerf locks up throw, please. With lag would be pretty cool right now. Yeah, so I'm not too sure about this idea that like again, this is maybe not what Marlon is saying, but from my interpretation is that Marlon would like more of the moves, more of the kit of a character to be viable rather than having like 3 strong moves. I think an issue comes up, I talked about this in a previous recap of Aether actually. It was a Reddit post talking about how the hitboxes of a lot of characters are so big that every option becomes a multi-tool instead of a situational tool. And if every tool is a multi-tool, then it's really frustrating because anyone can press anything and it works all the time. And so there's something to be said about having certain moves be not super good, but situationally useful, you know? And again, I don't think Marlon is saying that that's not true, but rather that those other moves are just so bad that, like, because certain moves aren't that bad, it's going to force players to play a specific way. The last thing Marlon says about this is, does shoehorning character options until there's only one viable game plan equal perfect balance? I'm tired of fighting players who are literally just doing the same thing but slightly better than each other. It's just an exhausting gameplay loop. Yeah, so I mean, basically what I was saying before, Marlon is claiming that the characters are balanced in a way that there are only one or two viable options, which means every player of every skill level will just do that option at varying levels of success. Biz asks, can you give an example or maybe which characters you noticed the most on? Just curious. And I did look through this. So Spiker, which is a top player from Rivals 1, gives their example, which is that Forceburn neutral is bear, dare, clone, and grab for the most part. There is more situationally, but more than half of what you see is bear. Which, yeah, I mean, I guess that's what both Spiker and Marlon is saying, is like, since Forsburn's bear is just so strong, all you do is fish for it. And because it's so strong and everyone knows it, people in the bottom tier do this, people in the top tier do this. And because of that, there's a lack of expression. You can't see like this player's version of the character or that player's version of the character because all of them are doing bear, dare, clone for Forsburn. At least that's what Spiker is saying. I feel like I maybe slightly disagree, since like I do feel like watching like when Void was playing, like a Void Forsburn, I think they'd play differently than a Cake Forsburn. I feel like Rungunshoe's Clarin plays differently than a Spargo Clarin. So I also don't have the eyes for the nuances for this, so maybe they do ultimately play the same, but yeah, I'm not sure. This may also be a result of the game being very young and the meta not developed. Like when the game is young, people will gravitate towards the strong options first, before getting creative. I guess there's something to say if they're claiming that the game doesn't encourage that creativity, but I don't think I necessarily agree with that. I think players first gravitate towards strong options, and then counterplay happens because of that, and then people counter the counterplay. Look at games like Smash Ultimate or Melee. They've been out for a long time, and the longer it goes, the more creative people get. Oh yeah, Kincaid is saying very similar things to what I said. I do truly think that's early meta stuff. Eventually people will figure out counterplay that forces people to change up options. Which yeah, I agree. I agree completely. People will pick the strong options because people aren't able to counter them effectively yet. But once they do, they're forced to be creative, and then they come up with new options. And eventually in the future, when enough people play, there will be different options that different people use depending on their playstyle. Alexander says, this combined with like every option being made so easy to do that I haven't been liking as much. I guess that's another thing to ask, is that like every option not only is good, but it's also easy to do. Like the floor of the game is pretty high. And I know this is Reddit, so I'm jumping the gun a little bit here, but this is a Reddit post talking specifically about this conversation. So I wanted to take a look at what the community thought about this topic. The top comment right now says, I don't know, I'm not great at the game, but if we are to point where having 4 main buttons you use is over centralizing, that seems a little silly. Isn't every character gonna have tools central to their game plan? Yeah, I mean, that's what I feel like too. Like four buttons is a good amount of buttons. And this being the top comment, I feel like this is an opinion that most people, at least at the mid to low level, agree with. Maybe when you get to the top level, this becomes more apparent, but at least to the majority of the player base, it seems like it's not that big of an issue. King Zava says, yeah, but in relation to Rivals 1, there were just a lot more options and more expression with every character. Compared to games like Ultimate, Rivals 2 has definitely way more options, but less than Rivals 1. I think you can still make that argument, I just don't know if this is a good point. I feel like it wouldn't be that hard to pick 4 options that Rivals 1 Raster has and say it's the same thing. King Zaba responds to that saying, I mean, I don't know about tier list placings, but I don't think that's true for Rivals 2 versus Rival 1 Raster at all. If you heavily nerfed dash attack, dare, and up air in each, Rivals 1 Raster could still pull off some cool stuff, while Rivals 2 Raster would just be dead in the water. Okay. I think maybe I just haven't played Rivals 1 enough to like really know the nuances again. Heebie says, that's just the engine though, not mainly to do with move strength. Raster is also way less floating, has lower airspeed, and way more end lag and startup on all his attacks. Port the Rivals 1 frame data and airspeed regardless of the engine, the rest movesets wouldn't let him down as bad as vanilla Rivals 2 Raster. Like bruh, you could have just did anything you could dream of with him. Down tilt into sour dash attack into up air into up B, what the freak? Yeah, I guess this is just like a Rivals 1 to Rivals 2 pain point. I think Rivals 1 was just like, it had enough time to develop a meta where people, you know, and it was also the first game of the series, right? There was no top players in Rivals before Rivals 1. So when Rivals 1 happened and top players already are used to their game and their expression, and they jump into a new game, it's really frustrating because they aren't able to do the expressive things that they're used to. Me as a mid-level player who, you know, truth be told, didn't do a lot of crazy expressive stuff in Rivals 1. I just kind of played Crag and Olympia the way I wanted to, which probably was really basic. And I don't know, I feel like I'm doing the same thing with this game as well. I will say, I think it's generally hard to, you know, balance a game around good tools, because like I mentioned before, you don't want every tool to do everything, because then it's kind of like pointless. At the same time, you don't want certain things to be too strong because it becomes over centralizing. So I'm not sure. Scumbrick says, as a Rano player, I felt a little too dependent on finishing enemy off with fair. Like, why even do anything fancy setting up for smash attacks and bear tippers when grab leads to potentially more fairs? Rano fair is definitely one of those moves that always pisses me off when I lose to it. Feels like it kills earlier than my fleets bear in most cases. As a force player, bear is pretty much the only way to reliably kill. F smash gets CC'd and floor hugged at any percent. Down smash is way too situational and usually requires perfect tech roll to read to get value. And up smash can get drift DI'd out of any percent. I think they're saying the wrong thing. I think drift DI doesn't exist in Rivals 1. I could be wrong. I'm not sure. Again, I do have sympathy though. Like, it is true. Like, why would I put in, you know, 80% effort for 20% results when I could just put in 20% efforts to get 80% results? I get it. I totally get it. But I think what the other person said on Twitter is true. I think this is just early meta stuff. And because people have come from a game that had their meta developed already, it feels more frustrating because we're not at that point yet. Nukistical, alright, says, that's literally every fighting game ever. Every character has a few buttons options that encompasses their entire game plan, while every other button acts as a support to lead back into the game plan. Crobly Goop, man, these names are crazy. Yeah, I think he means more that some options are good in every situation, like some characters don't have support that leads back to their main game plan. They can just main game plan ad nauseum. Lobo says, wouldn't that be the best thing for someone new to the game? Let them gravitate towards that character? And Crobly Group says, you can have a simple character without a super centralizing game plan. Mario and Melee. Having an autopilot character is bad for a player long term, plus they will inherently be strong at top level. Smike says, definitely not every fighting game. Off the top of my head, that absolutely isn't the case with Tekken. But Oplerdop says, I'd say that fits plenty for Tekken characters. Mishima's use Electric Wind Gone Fist for whiff punishes, 1-1-2 to check pressure, Hell Sweeps for low mix, Wave Dash, WS2, I'm not sure what that is, I don't play Tekken, or whatever for mid mix, and mid plus on block moves for pressure. That's your main game plan right there. I really do think you can describe most fighting games this way if you're going to ignore combo fodder, and it's honestly more fun that way as long as it's not too over centralizing. It's fun to throw out moves that is as effed as Electric Wind Gone Fist. Funny, Tekken was actually the first game that comes to mind to prove his point. Yeah, okay, so I mean, clearly people just have different opinions on if a game is over centralizing or not. Lobo says, we have to assume he's talking about Clarence since he went to game 5 with Rungunshu at the Duckies local, but this is clearly a salt post, which is ironic given that Orkane has seen some serious love lately from the devs and is probably in the upper half of the tier list now. I think this is also his reasoning for dropping Raster. Marlon has been complaining that while Raster and Maple had to use a lot of their moves for their fancy combos, Rano players were literally posting clips of them hitting up tilt or fair 6 times in a row. Jay Thomas says, this is my only issue with the balance currently. Aside from bragging points, what's the incentive of playing a higher skill level, skill floor character who essentially has the same if not lower skill ceiling than others? Pull-up has shown that Maple is worth it at the highest level, but we haven't seen it from Raster, who arguably has the tightest windows to hit kill confirms in this game. Yeah, I mean, this might be true. Ultimately, it could just be a salt post. Marlon is just salty that, you know, they have to quote-unquote try harder than the opponent. But, you know, that's the name of the game, man. If you think that Ranos are just that busted, pick Rano. You know what I mean? If you think these characters are just so busted, show the devs how busted they are. I think that's a way to show what you're talking about. Win a tournament with just up tilt fair as Rano and be like, see, this is what I'm talking about. Ukelele talking about Marlin potentially dropping Raster and why. He says that in the Discord, he was saying that with fair and dash attack nerfs to Raster, he relies far too heavily on up air, which for the record doesn't work on floaties. Quote below. By nerfing one of his best grounded advantage state tools, so his scrapping can't be any better and giving him auto slip and nerfing his advantage in the air as well, but only leaving the toxic sharking aspect with up air and keeping down smash spike the same, just pushes Raster to play campy and spam sharks and down smash spikes. Everything else that was remotely interesting got nerfed out of the game. That's why I dropped this MF, because I'm not trying to press 3 buttons the entire match and jump around to be able to compete at a top level with this character. Oh, interesting. So I think what's interesting about this is that I think the reason why the devs nerfed fair and dash attack was because they believed that those moves were too over centralizing. But I guess what Marlin is saying, that fair and dash attack were equally as good as stuff like getting down smash spikes and sharking with up air. So it gave people an option. You can either do the sharking technique or do the fair dash attack stuff. Yeah, so I guess it's ultimately a disagreement on whether or not the good moves before were over centralizing or not. I remember the devs going over these moves because they felt that people were depending too much on fair dash attack. But since it's like those are gone, they're forced to rely on different moves, which I don't know. I think for me that forces you to be more creative. But I guess for Marlin, it forced him to be less creative. Yeah, interesting take. All right, next a little sillier, but Marlin is showing off this, which I think is just to show that from this angle, Rano can shoot needles from across the stage. From here to all the way to the ledge, which I will admit is pretty disgusting. It's gross. Spiker says, bro. Lost to go to the dark side. Oh, is this saying that Marlin is gonna play Rano now? That would be interesting. Here's a tweet from the Rivals of Aether account. Every character in Rivals 2 has a skin based on a different animal. We want you to guess what Olympia's is going to be. Use the template below to draw your guess, then reply here or post it with Olympia guess. We'll look at each submission in the next week's dev stream. Okay, so they're gonna look at the guesses, but let's take a look ourselves. Ooh, oh, this is cute. It's a panda skin, rainbow panda gloves, very fun. Olympia guess, a possum gang rise up. Ooh, a possum. Yeah, a possum would be great. It's got the rat tail and everything. Pink gloves. I understand, but for some reason I am unhappy with that. I think it looks too fleshy because it's the same color as the tail and the toes. I don't know about this one, but I like the concept of a possum. Oh, someone else did an opossum design. Very cute, very similar vibes. Some say Oni still wonders Aether, looking for the one thing it could never give her, a challenge. Ah, an Oni skin. I mean, with the purple, the scary eyes, the spiky. I mean, this is looking like what the Abyss skin might look like, which honestly, the Abyss Olympia might go crazy. Ooh, wait, this is so fun. A squirrel skin would be really sick, especially with the bushy tail. That's really cute. Another possum. I think people really like the idea for a possum, but they're having different ideas of what the coloration might be. Ooh, a red panda skin? Wait, this is sick. Oh yeah, I really dig this. The black eyes are really a little bit scary, but otherwise, I dig this. Is this Absa? I thought a goat was inspired choice for a skin. Hope you enjoy. You just put the Absa texture on like this. I guess you kind of tried because this hair is like in the hair part. I don't know. That's hilarious. Large mouth bass Olympia. Yeah, I think it's gonna be a large mouth bass. The devs have been teasing it all year. It's practically undeniable at this point. This is disgusting. I hate this. Oh my god, you made the scales everywhere and the fishtail. I hate this. I hate this, and I hope they make it real. Wow, naked mole rat Olympia from Midnight Moth. Okay, and naked rats makes sense. But just the way you drew the face, I guess because his naked mole rats have that kind of eyes, it looks crazy. Because Olympia, okay, I'm not ignoring that. Yeah, it's got regular teeth and big old eyes. This is like small ass eyes and sharp buck teeth. It's scary. Scary. That's it so far for people posting their drawings of it. People have different guesses. Siamese cat, a beaver. Yeah, I mean, different rodents I think are the easy picks. A beaver would be pretty funny. But I think of all of these, honestly, I'm the most, like, I think this red panda is really cool. And the squirrel is really fun. I really, really like the squirrel one. Next, we got some Twitter fan art. Zeus the Goose, the goat, had made some art pieces from the art challenge that he did for Rivals of Aether 2. Wow. They were drawn with my mouse. Oh, wow. Impressive, because Tableau wasn't working. So this is fine. Zetterburn, apt because he likes fire. Circus Arcane, very cute. I love this. And Sock Puppet Apsa. That's hilarious. I think of all the characters to be sock puppets, Apsa would be one of them. I think because Apsa's a goat, which is not necessarily a sheep, but wool sock, wool sheep, goat. Yeah, you get it. Next, we have this really sick fan art of Clarin. Oh my god. Kate, also known as @Fenukina, has made this Clarin. This is super badass. I really like the like how sharp the claws are, the pose very dynamic, the cape flowing, really sick stuff. Now we have some fan art from Watermelon, a bunch of fan art actually. This one is a raster, very cute. That effing bird that I hate, amazing art. No joke, that meme was going to be the caption originally. Watermelon also made this really cool Sylvanos. If you're unaware, Sylvanos is a character from Rivals 1, which we'll probably see sometime soon. Very interesting character. I actually was a Rivals 1 Sylvanos hater, but that's because I didn't play them enough to understand how they worked. And I just felt that their range was too big. That down tilt is disgusting. What am I supposed to do? And some Arcane. Wow. Very plump, very cute. Love this face a lot. And finally, Watermelon's Angry Maple. I love it when Maple looks like a tough fighter. I love the fuzz too. I think the thing with Game Maple is that she's a little flat, but yeah, this is a lot of fun. Next is this. I don't know what this is. What the hell is a polar bear doing in Air Armada? Also, I like that it's like cut out here as if you didn't make up this image. What is this? What is this? Where's his beard at? He had beard cancer? What the heck? Poor bear, he looks so pathetic. Why does he look like that? Even he doesn't know why he's here. What is this, dude? What the hell is Edelus doing in Godai Delta? Is this what it's from? Oh, the ice, oh wait, that's what he's missing. That's why he looks so goofy. He doesn't have the ice armor thing. Well, what is this? This is a model. Did you model this yourself? Not model it, but did you pose it yourself? I don't know why this got me so much, but it's so funny to me. Next, Sushi's, Real Sushi's is making a, okay, T-pose, is making a Shovel Knight mod. Have you guys unlocked this dude in Rivals 2? He seems pretty cool so far. Well, this is a lot of fun. If you didn't know, Rivals 1 actually had 2 guest characters, Ori from Ori and the Blind Forest and Shovel Knight from Shovel Knight. It looks like Sushi's is making a mod for Shovel Knight. I mean, this is without workshop support. I'm really excited to what the game is going to offer once workshop support is in. There's actually more stuff with this Shovel Knight mod, showcasing them using the little bounce that Down Air has now, implementing the little bounce, showing off some color palettes of this mod, and finally showing off some specials that they implemented, specifically Flare Wand. Ooh, dude, this is really sick. I mean, something about the Rivals community with the workshop, like creativity really thrives, and I guess it's because they have support for it. Granted, 3D modeling and rigging is probably harder than just doing pixel art, but I'm really excited to what Workshop is going to offer if we even have this stuff before it's available. Next, I wanted to show off maybe one of the greatest feuds in Rivals 2 history, and it is the battle for getting the world record for raster target test. It all started with Torna getting the world record for raster. You know, just pretty clean, going up and around, getting all these target test targets, and then it begins. Next, Shadowhawk says, bro had the audacity to tag me on Discord. F you, Torna, it's mine! So before, Torna got 8.28 seconds, and so Shadowhawk is going to beat that. Bing, bang, bing, at 8.15 seconds. But it doesn't end there. Torna says, your move, kid, getting up to 8.13 seconds. And then Shadowhawk responds saying, oh, Torna. Getting it even faster. Bing, bang, boom, bomb. Getting it and getting 8.6 seconds.
Torna!
Oh, Torna!
Oh, Torna!
But Torna says, oh, Shadowhawk, because they got even better, even faster, even smoother. And getting it to sub 8 seconds, 7.95 seconds. The power of having a rival is unmatched. And then Shadowhawk gets it again. Give up, man. This is becoming unhealthy for both of us. Improving it even more, getting it to 7.93. So Torna got to 7.95 and Shadowhawk got it to 7.93.
Yes.
Holy. But it doesn't end there. Torna says the jig is up. I had these clips stocked. Now we are officially tied. Wait, that's so funny. You had it ready. 7.93. But Shadowhawk says the jig is mine, actually, improving it even more. 7.83. Shaving off 0.1 seconds. Holy. But Torna swings back again. They're going at it for so long. 7.63. But the Shadowhawk comes back again. I need to reevaluate my choices on this website. All you're doing all day is getting target test practice. And then he got 7.61. But if I told you it wasn't over, it's true, it's not over. Because how many times do I have to do this until you give the F up? Torna comes back with a whopping 7.56.
Oh, suck my dick! Let's fucking go!
Let's go. Let's go. But Shadowhawk can do this all day. Beating it once again at 7.41. The improvement goes crazy. The improvement goes crazy.
Fuck you, dude.
The anger in their voices. And so far, this has been the last one. Torna gets the last laugh, saying it's not over until I say it's over. Rounding it off, getting faster and faster. Ooh, very smooth, and rounding it off at 7.3 seconds. 7.3. So this post was March 15th. And so from a span of, March 8th, 7 days, a week, you improved from 8.26 seconds, which was pretty good, it was world record, all the way to 7.3. A whole second off. Really impressive stuff. Every time this showed up on my feed, I was like, oh my god, it's not over. It's not over. It keeps going. I hope Shadowhawk can beat this, but we'll see. We'll have to see. This might be the maximum amount of time. Next, I want to show you guys maybe the best fleet clip of all time. I mean, okay, first of all, ooh, bing, bong, bing. Oh my god, that's so sick. Ow! Okay, first of all, I had no idea that you could stack charges. What? So it gets them with a charged down special. Like, bing. But after, they grab and do a special pummel to get another charge. So there's 2 charges on Crag now. So that charge goes off, then the next charge goes off. That's so sick. And then you got a charge down air. And then once it pops, you get him with the up special. Oh my god, and you live? Dude, Fleet is crazy. Is this the creativity that Marlon was talking about? Does Fleet get included in this? I don't know. I thought that was hype. That was maybe the greatest clip of all time. I wish Keikasult still played Fleet. Because I think even though Fleet isn't as good as she used to be, she's still nutty, man. She's still crazy if you're creative. Soul Bird Guy has this little cute video of a kitten that I don't know if they have or they're fostering or whatever, but gotta start these Claren mains off young. So cute. Meow. That's so cute. I love it. Hey, if you start young, you get better sooner. Nestor has a jump scared, a little funny video based on the pirate skin who has a poppy that's a bomb.
That is a bomb strapped to my chest.
There's a bomb strapped to my chest. I think he said, yeah, Nestor said, I didn't know which one to do, so I did both. Good stuff. And finally for Twitter, I don't know what this is. Olympia taco? On April 4th, let's all go to Taco Bell and ask for the Olympia taco. The look on their workers' face will be awesome. I don't understand. I don't get it. I think it's absurd. I guess that's why it's funny, and it is funny. But that's I don't know. That's hilarious. That's absurd. Next, we have the YouTube portion of the video. Like every time, we're going to put every one of these videos in the description down below. So if any of these spark your interest, make sure to check it out. Now, first, a little bit of a self-promo, but I wanted to show off this video I made. I made a new game mode in Rivals 2, so the devs don't have to. This is the last video I made. It's a more fun gameplay video where I showcase a new game mode that I invented. Basically, you have a CPU that's level 1 and 2 other CPUs that are like level 9, and you have to protect your own baby CPU. I had a lot of fun making this video and editing this video, and if you like videos like that, feel free to check it out. It'll be in the description down below, and I would greatly appreciate it if you took a look, gave it a like, gave it a comment. I really like this video, and I wish it did better, but you know, it is what it is. I mentioned this before, but Last Stock had a Creator Cup where they invited 8 players to play in a tournament, and during this tournament, Last Stock has discussions with all of them, talking about what they like about Rivals, why they are making content for it, etc, etc. So it's a really chill time to get to know more of the creators in the community. Last Stock did invite me to play, but the slots filled up really fast, so I couldn't make it, unfortunately. But if Last Stock ever does it again, I hope to make it the next time. Last Stock also made a video on the best Crag matchup chart. And big shoutouts to Zeus the Goose for making this video possible. Since Zeus is a very strong Crag player, had a lot of good info on what the matchup chart should look like. And yeah, Last Stock just goes over the winning matchups, the even matchups, and the losing matchups. Next, we have Soul Bird Guy's perspective on the Creator Cup. I think all the creators were given permission to stream and record the Creator Cup themselves, but I don't think a lot of them are doing it on YouTube, except for Soul Bird Guy. So if you want to see one perspective, here it is. Proofblock has a video on how to optimize your movement in Rivals 2. Proofblock says there are some movement in this game that's a little tricky to getting used to, but once it is integrated into your play, it'll make a significant difference. Hopefully, if you already knew the movement mechanics, then the character tips were helpful. So yeah, Last Stock is going over some general movement tech as well as character-specific tech. So if you wanted to improve your game a little bit by optimizing your movement, this will be a great video to look for reference. Proofblock also made a video showcasing what he thinks is every character's best move in Rivals of Aether 2. But yeah, if you wanted to see Proofblock's opinion on all this and join in on the conversation, be sure to check out this video. Next, we have Wisely's video on how Olympia changed in Rivals 2. So this is actually a clip from the stream where he analyzes the trailer, but Wisely is a veteran in the rival scene, so he has a lot of good knowledge. So if you wanted to check it out and see how he analyzes this trailer, the video will be in the description down below. Next, since the last time I showcased it, Dim's Island actually has a couple more videos showcasing the Ranger fleet as well as a Demigod skin. But yeah, this video in particular is a very interesting one. Dim's Island talks about Rivals of Aether's 2 worst cosmetic, which is specifically color palettes. Dims goes over what he believes is a fatal flaw in the cosmetics joint, which is specifically having to pay for palettes. I believe this is an interesting conversation, because yeah, what do you guys think? Should palettes be locked under a paywall? And if so, how expensive should these palettes be? Because right now I think like rare palettes could be like 320 Aether bucks, where some are like 200 something. Yeah, people like Soul Bird Guy actually responded saying that he doesn't believe that palettes should cost more than $1, which I think is about 100 Aether bucks or 10,000 coins. But yeah, interesting conversation. And finally, this is a criminally underwatched video. If you have trouble dealing with Loxodon's F-tilt, this is a great video to watch. Golgi showcases both the strengths and especially the weaknesses of F-tilt and showing off how you can deal with it. Namely, I didn't know this, you can just parry F-tilt too. You can just, what? I didn't know that. That's stupid. But I mean, yeah, obviously Lox can bait it out, so there's that. But if a Loxodon is spamming F-tilt too, you can just parry that. And there's a lot of fun tips and tricks like that in this video. Golgi, I think, is a really good resource. I hope Golgi makes more videos like this in the future. The more support they get, I'm sure the more reason that they will make more videos like this. And finally, let's get into the Reddit portion of the video. Let's see what the Reddit community has to say about Rivals of Aether this week. For one, Ghostly Goo Gangle says, my 2 most wanted skins for Olympia. Oh, cute! This was not on Twitter, I believe, but okay, Kangaroo Olympia. Wait, that's a really cute idea. and a possum Olympia. Wait, I saw this in Twitter. Maybe someone just didn't post this. Very interesting. Very cute ideas. I really like this. Kind of like pajama fleet vibes, but with a kangaroo. Very, very cute. And kangaroos also want a box. You know what I mean? They want to throw hands, so I think this is a very apt skin. They hated him because he told the truth. Wisely says, I think I must be playing a fundamentally different video game than everyone else because I'd rather fight 10 Clarence and Zetters than current Rano right now. Wait, that's it. That is interesting. To be fair, Clarence, Zetter, Rano, those three cycle through the hate. Those are the most hated characters in this game, I believe. I think though, for me, I would rather fight Ranos than Zetters. I've been a day one Zetter hater. The Zetters are cool. Don't get me wrong, Zetters are cool. But like something about them wave shining and spamming projectiles and the dares gets me the most upset. I just don't know what it is, but I get really upset when I get hit by 10 shines in a row. Let's see what the people have to say about this. The real issue is that I don't have a choice. I just get 10 Clarence. Yeah, I mean, Clarence is the easy bait character, so there's gonna be a lot of them. Me personally, I'm glued to Loxodon. Yeah, it seems like the character comes in waves. I'm sorry, as a Loxodon main, I'm sorry. I didn't know you guys were frustrated about him. I thought he was a pretty cool character, but I guess I'm wrong. First they came for the Clarence, and I did not speak out because I don't main Clarence. Then they came for the Zetterburns, and I did not speak out because I don't main Zetterburns. Then they came for the Ranos, and I did not speak out because I don't main Rano. Then they came for my main, and by that time there was no one left to speak up. True. Listen, yeah, I mean, here's the thing. Those three are the main three that get cycled through. Everyone has characters that they hate, but those three are mainly it. Waiting for Raster to get his turn in the current character to cry about slots so I can start laughing maniacally every time I win. The reason people don't complain about Raster is because nobody plays Raster. But trust me, I loathe every second I'm in the game with a Raster. Let's go! That's such a funny response. Hey, I mean, here's the thing. Every character has their strengths. That's the true strength of this game. I mean, yeah, a good any character can be really frustrating because they don't let you play the game. But that's just fighting games. When you play against someone who's good, the whole name of the game is to not let you play. That's how it is. The thing is, once Rano gets nerfed, people will just find another character to complain about. It's a never-ending cycle. I think the game is more balanced than they're given credit for. The Aether Studios is actually listening to feedback and making changes that Nintendo would never do. The game isn't perfect, I get it, but have it so good. I hope people realize that. King Zaba says, right, and also if you're a top tier in the game, no matter what game, people will not like fighting you. It can definitely be depending on what specifically is frustrating, but losing to a character with better tools almost always makes people mad. I mean, that's the truth too. If you're playing a good character and a good player, it's just gonna be frustrating because it feels like you can't do anything. But again, that's like fighting games. You get comboed in fighting games. LOL, apparently the latest patch broke my modded color palette for Mechalox, and I'm kind of here for it. Ooh, a golden Loxodon with like pink fire. But when a patch happened, I guess like all the colors got swapped. But it looks pretty badass though, I'm not gonna lie. I really dig this color palette. Peak? Peak. Lox Classic Quag edition, Lox Black Square edition, side-by-side comparison. A DJ Max reference, I don't know what that is. What is this? Oh, this is the Oni skin that I saw on Twitter. Nice, it would be nice if she had a prayer beads orbiting around her, like in dungeons, we could see her wearing it. Oh yeah, prayer beads would be really fun to have. And it could be the crystals. The crystals could be floating around her. Oh, sick. For the Zetterburn haters. Oh, wait, can you just beat it out like that? Wait, if they do that, can I up tilt? What? I probably could. Wait, that's so crazy. Also, this is really funny. If you didn't know, there is a Zetterburn player who's been constantly I'm probably gonna see it, constantly posting these videos called For the Crag Haters, and then showing like combo videos on the Crag, which is ironic because every single time they post that, the top comment is always, I hate Zetterburn more. So this guy is really brave. I don't know why he keeps posting it. He's either like a troll or he doesn't care or doesn't look at the comments. Because I feel like if I posted the two videos and everyone's actually, I hate Zetterburn more, I think I would stop posting. But this is really funny. Zetterburn got 6 speed. Yeah. If this was Guilty Gear, that 6 speed counter hit is immediately putting you into the blender. Maple Jab 1 broken, Dan. This is better every loop. Maple really said, you stop that. Yeah, this is, wow, I didn't know you could just stop that with a jab. Or I guess any hitbox hitting up. Battle of BC, Rivals 2 singles. So this is the next big major for Rivals 2. Battle of BC. So the seeding right now, number 1 Cake Assault, number 2 Marlin, 3 ZB, 4 Spargo. Oh, Spargo's joining us. Probably because Battle of BC also has ultimate, so I think Spargo's gonna be in there. Run Gunshoe under, Cheesy Potato, Nbad, Elkies, Mystery Soul, Mr. R is coming to this? Oh my god. Gengar, Beastly, Pickle. Dude, this is a very... I am unfortunately unfamiliar with Dolphin Brick and... Oh, I know one Outcast. And I don't know Sawstep. But wow, this is a pretty stacked tournament. Character count. 3 Crags, 3 Clarence, 2 Forsburns, 2 Arcanes, 2 Maples, 2 Fleets, 1 Zetterburn, 1 Raster. 0 Randos, Loxodons, or Edilises. Interesting. Yeah, where are the Randos? For a character who's like really good and easy for people, it's interesting that none of the top 16, like none of the top players are Randos. Very interesting. They don't go offline, it seems. No Randos is crazy. I mean, no Edilises makes sense. No Loxodons even makes sense, but no Randos. Wow. Finally got gold today. This game is awesome. Let's go! Let's go. I love seeing rank up posts. The beginning was hard for me. I needed some time to adapt and learn to get out of bronze into silver. Now I finally got into gold with my 2 mains, Raster and Lox. My proudest moment was winning against someone with 1143 MMR, so I'm definitely improving over time. Yeah, I mean, that's a solidly plat player, dude. Keep up the great work, devs. No other platform fighter has got me disinvested in recent times. Hey, I agree. This game is awesome. Just posting this for others like me who had a hard time in the beginning. With time, you definitely get better and the games just become more and more fun. I agree. I think the problem with this game is that it front loads a lot of things and it's really hard to break into, but once you break into it, it's a lot of fun. Another traitor leaves the Silver Society. Go on, keep improving. We don't want you to come crawling back to us. I hope you still accept me if I dip back into silver from time to time. That's really funny. Oh, this is really cool. I made a matchmaking Discord for bronze and stone players. Oh, low level Discord. After seeing so many posts on the subreddit of people getting matched with players outside their skill level, I decided to make a Discord to hopefully fill this gap. My goal is to have newer players have a place to learn the game in a more focused environment with opponents of their own skill level. I am a Diamond Master player. Can I join? Yes, you definitely can. I created roles specifically for people of your caliber in hopes that some of you will be willing to help some of these newer players get a grasp on aspects of the game. Silver to plat players are welcome as well, but matchmaking is for bronze and stone players only at the moment. This is not a place to complain about the game and aspects of it. Everyone gets salty, but I don't want the server to be a negative place overall. I hope you join and have some success in finding some better matches. This is my first Discord server, so I am welcome to any suggestions. Thanks everyone. Here's a Discord link. I also have included some links to character Discords, as well as beginner video resources, tutorials that I could find. Wow, but this is really cool. I love this. Yeah, I mean, if you are a bronze or stone player, and possibly even silver, but I guess this is focused on the low end, join this Discord. It's right here. I'll put this in the description down below, actually, and give it a try. Maybe you'll be matched with players in your skill level and have a lot more fun. Because this game, like most fighting games, is the most fun when you play against similar leveled people. When it's like really close, that's when you feel good. It almost never feels good to stomp or get stomped, you know? I debated on what to put here, but mainly I just wanted to say that the game was really fun to play in person. A console release would really help for local scenes. Laptops and computers are just more cumbersome than good old consoles. Go on and support your locals, folks. Yeah, if you have a local scene, make sure to check it out. Any game, I think, is better locally because you could hang out with people, talk in person, and you get less salty when you see the actual person in front of you, you know what I mean? This is a good time to remind you that Raven set up a worldwide tracker for Rivals of Aether, specifically tracking different regions, their discords, and their tournaments. So if you are in any of these regions, feel free to check it out. By the way, if you're from California and you're like, where's California? It's actually separated into NorCal and SoCal because those regions are that big. So SoCal is here, NorCal is right here. But yeah, a lot of these places have different local tournaments to join. So if you are in any of these areas, feel free to check it out and join your local. I'll make sure to put the link to this in the description down below. Yeah, so this is in reference to the thing I was talking about before. Zetterburn's downfall. Everyone hates Crag. Farm upvotes by clipping him with Zetterburn combos. People start to notice that Zetterburn combos are pretty violent. Everyone hates Zetterburn. That's what I'm saying. People hate Zetterburn. Yeah, this is what I'm talking about. This is the guy, middle bathroom. For the Crag haters. He's just comboing Crag. Also, what the? This is barely even. Okay, I really don't want to be a hater, but this is barely even a combo. Okay, you got some like shine spikes in, or you got some shines in. You like missed the jump here. You just double shined. And here you missed this. You missed the shine in the dare multiple times. You missed the dare. You missed it. What is this? This is like a nothing burger. All right. Okay. I don't mean to be a hater. I don't mean to be a hater. W Crag, you'll get him next time. Nice shine spike. Sadly, anything Zeta related that isn't Slander will get downvoted. Maybe re-upload next month. They'll hate someone else by then. That's so funny. These fools are so serious about downvoting you. I mean, here's the thing. You gotta rename this to something else. For the Crag haters, come on now. Oh, so this is another conversation based on the conversation that Marlon had. Is leniency a problem? Marlon's criticism about the game revolving around a few buttons, while made in Salt, is similar to how I been feeling about the game. Make no mistake, Rivals 2 is capable of extreme depth and complexity, but it's hard to feel like it's worth exploring when such simple things yield such high rewards. We don't want things to be as arbitrarily difficult as Melee, but were the ways we went about that correct? The general design philosophy of moves in this game involve a lot of leeway in terms of hitbox size and coverage. You will not be demanded to spend countless hours grinding movement or tech in order to connect combos, which is great, but I think they went too far with it. Instead of needing high level movement to combo, we need high level movement to punish the simplest of acts. This is due to lenient hitboxes in combination of lacking whiff lag and lack of lag on moves in general. I actually agree with having very little whiff lag on things as long as the size and coverage of the hitboxes reflect that. So let's take a look at some moves and see if their hitboxes justify their whiff lag. Yeah, I maybe it was Alltech who made a very similar post before, showcasing like the huge hitboxes, like, you know, up forward smash here, having a backward hitbox, stuff like that. Moves being too lenient. So interesting to talk about. Here's some examples. In a vacuum, I don't have a problem with the size, damage, or whiff lag of this move, a slow startup and a decent bit of end lag. The problem is how clearly deceptive the threat area is. The size of the hitbox relative to the size of the animation definitely passes into the not acceptable threshold. You'll find that moves we analyze will either have not enough lag to justify their size, or have deceptive hitboxes like Rano or a mix of both. I will say, to this point, I understand what you're saying, like this hitbox goes way beyond where the foot is, but that's the thing about platform fighters, that a lot of times hitboxes go past where the animation is so that it looks like it connects better, you know what I mean? Another example is Clarin, is this Jab? Yeah, Jab 1. On paper, again, I don't necessarily have a problem with this move with how laggy the recovery is, but the body hitbox and the size, I know the predicament that they designed her with the laggy jab in mind, big deceptive hitboxes have to compensate for it, right? I think moves like this just have to be worse or more situational than to be compensated in such ways. I mean, particularly, like, it's deceptive in like the up and down range. But I don't know, it's interesting because this is a lot more elegant of a solution than having like multiple tiny hitboxes cover the entire sword. And like this hitbox in particular, like if you were jabbing and the character was in this area and you didn't get hit, I think that would feel worse. But yeah, a lot of examples like this, and Dan actually responds. First of all, thanks for the feedback, but this is the second time I've read through a post like this and I want to clarify a few things. Ooh, hitbox size has little to do with leniency that these top players are discussing. That's more the input buffer and general input changes over the last 24 years that allow more players to consistently get frame perfect options than they would be able to in a game like Super Smash Bros. Melee, which requires more practice and precision when it comes to inputs. For some of the hitbox sizes you point out, you are missing the most of these moves that extend into the body are also paired with the horizontal movement forward. We played a game without body hitboxes first, since the intuitive thing is to only hook up hitboxes to the sword or the right of the hands. Players would pass through each other when attacking someone in front of them all the time. We would have the scramble situations where two players would jab facing each other and end up both whiffing while moving forward and swapping places, and it would look like we never placed hitboxes on the moves in the first place. It felt much worse than what we have now, which I agree completely, which is what I was talking about before. A lot of times, especially in platform fighters, you need these hitboxes that seem bigger than they should, because otherwise it feels like they're missing hitboxes. This is why Rano F Strong reaches so far back. It's insanely easy to miss that point blank move because Rano would just go through them, especially if you were a single frame early punishing a roll or a spot dodge. That body hitbox is pretty necessary due to how much motion he has during the strong attack. You can think of that hitbox like the back hitbox of a trail of a slash, since the character's movements is propelling them forward. Now, not saying that there are no hitboxes in the game that should be reduced, but I've seen people call out a couple of the same moves without understanding why they are built the way that they are. I do think for some of the ones that reach farther inside characters could be shifted slightly, especially on characters like Clarin, who's meant to be weaker right on top of her, but we're talking about 5% to 10% changes to existing hitboxes at that point, and not removing hitboxes entirely. Reverse hits are another discussion, and mostly related to aerials with a handful of exceptions. I still personally don't like the amount of reverse hits that we have on strong aerials, but we have some big characters with big hitboxes and big hurtboxes, and removing the standard reverse property entirely wouldn't feel good either. I also appreciate that reverse hits are in areas where players were more skilled than me can show off their precision by purposely going for them. They are a skill expression that is currently possible even with our input buffer and other concessions. Yeah, I mean, yeah, to Dan's point, I agree that like some of these hitbox placements are necessary, you know? It's not like a traditional fighting game where it's like limited movement and very, very precise hitboxes, especially because hitboxes are generally perfect rectangles. In a game like this, you kind of need wider hitboxes to compensate for, game feel. Righteous Nomad says, "Hey Dan, I just want to share, this sub is filled with so many loud people who just want to make up reasons why they aren't as skilled as they think they are, and your efforts and executions are noticed by the vast majority of players. It's incredibly impressive that you are able to take what is often weak criticism and still attempt good faith interactions with it. Cheers. Cool to see the creator come to Reddit to clarify and discuss this kind of stuff. Thanks for letting me play 3D Arcane, by the way." So I'll disagree that this is often weak criticism. Like, again, I think Dan as a developer knows this. Like, people have an understanding of why they're frustrated, but not necessarily the fix. So yeah, they're frustrated with how lenient it feels to play certain characters and certain moves, but the fix that they're suggesting, which is to make smaller and less hitboxes, probably isn't the thing that will fix it truly. Alright, so that's all the time I have for this week. Thank you guys so much for watching. And thank you guys again for all your support. I really hope that I keep improving as I go. And I also hope to do more fun videos like the last one. I already mentioned this before, but if you can check it out, I would greatly appreciate it. Give it a comment, give it a like, get some engagement on there. And hopefully the next time I have a recap video, I'll get a creator code so you guys can support me in that way as well. Remember to keep playing Rivals, and I'll see you guys next time.